What's up guys, Jerome here from the Bonsai Supply, and today I thought it was a great idea to take a boring ball cypress whip and turn it into hopefully something really cool and interesting. So this ball cypress whip is about 3 years old. There's not much going on right now. It's a little thicker at the bottom and then it gets very thin towards the top. And there's really nothing more to this tree at the moment. It's skinny, it's boring, it looks kind of like a car antenna, so there's not that much to it right now. So I think that if we apply some wire, some thicker wire, and we remove about this section of branches in here, and just keep this exposed and put some crazy movement into the trunk, then we could hopefully make this tree look a lot more interesting and hopefully create a really special tree. Alright, so the very first thing that we're going to do here is actually take some scissors and just remove all of these lower branches. Now these lower branches won't be incorporated into the new design. There's really nothing that we can do with these branches, so we're just going to take them off. So this ball cypress whip is about 4 feet tall. It's quite tall actually. Now the good thing about these ball cypress whips is that they are very flexible. So if I stand it up like this, and I take my hands and I carefully massage the trunk, and you see how much I can bend this tree? So that's pretty impressive. So if I keep massaging this tree and then apply wire, then I can hopefully bend this tree trunk into something very cool, unique and special. So now when you massage this, you want to really listen to it, and you can kind of feel it with your hands as you apply the pressure, but you can kind of hear the cambium. It starts to crackle a little bit, like you can hear that little cracking sound. When you hear that cracking sound, just back off and then come back and apply more pressure, and use your whole palm of your hand to bend this, and then you will see that this actually bends quite easily. Alright, so we're going to take it out of the pot now. Let's remove some of the top layer here of fertilizer. So that we can actually bend this bottom section as well. Alright. I think we're ready to apply the wiring. So I'm going to use a quite a thick wire. So this is about a 3 or 3.5 millimeter aluminum wire, and I'm going to double it up, maybe even triple it up. And so when I bend something like this, like a heavy trunk, instead of using one thick wire like a 5 or a 6, I prefer to use like a 3 and just double or triple it up, because as the wires are laying next to each other and you have like 2 or 3 of them, and you start to do the bending, and that way your trunk won't crack as easy. If you only have one wire, your trunk will crack much easier than if you have 3. You have much more support, right? You have overlaying wires like this all the way. You can do much better bends. So what we're going to do here is take this first wire and just slide it right next to the base into the soil. So we'll jam it down as deep as we can, and this is kind of our anchoring. Oh, that's something. Alright, so this is our anchoring, and then we just start to wire this tree like you would anything else. Alright, so next up, before we go ahead and start to bend the trunk, I wanted to choose the pot for it first and set it up as well. So I chose this pot for it, which is a European handmade pot. and it has a really cool shape. The front is a little lower and the back is a little more raised. So I think if we plant the tree here at an angle and have it kind of cascading down on the side, I think that would look really cool. So therefore we have to set up the pot first, so that we can then bend the trunk and pot it at the same time. This process goes kind of hand in hand. So I put the screen at the bottom. Perfect. There you go. So this is what the pot looks like. And now we're going to use 2 wires, which we're going to use as the anchoring wires to tie the tree into the pot and to prevent it from toppling over. We need 2 wires for that. Alright, so I have my tie down wires here, and I'm going to need 1 more wire. Okay, perfect. And you're going to see why I use 3 wires on a tree like this in just a moment. So this next wire also goes through the bottom here, and we're going to use this wire here to give the tree more movement when we tie it down. Alright, here we are. So wire number 3. Alright, so next I put my little pot on top of a cascading pot that's upside down, just to gain more height, because we are going to go cascading. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to reduce the root ball slightly to make it fit into the pot, and at the same time we're also going to bend the tree trunk carefully to put it into position. So this is kind of like a simultaneous thing where you do it at the same time. Before I tie it down, I just place the tree into the pot so that I can see if I like the angle before I go ahead and tie this tree down. So therefore I just set it in here and then start to bend, and I always keep one hand on top so that I don't mess up the root ball too much. Alright. So as you can see, this tree is quite flexible. So it has that nice kind of movement out, and then it goes down. And so this is why I have this 3rd wire in here, which is this one, so that I can tie the trunk closer to the pot and make it a little more believable. So now I can go ahead and tie this tree down into position. Alright, so I'm going to put a little soil now to position the tree to really prop it up into position, and then I'm going to go ahead and tie this tree down and continue to bend and tie it down at the same time. So let's see how that goes. So definitely mission is accomplished with this piece right here. We took a boring old ball cypress whip and we turned it into something a little more interesting with more character. Now I took this wire here, this one right here, which is a 3rd wire that I installed, and that was just to bring the trunk closer to the pot so that we can create that more dramatic trunk line. Now I'm gonna actually water this tree, and then I'm gonna put it right back out into full sun, but I'm gonna put the pot about halfway into a dish of water just throughout the summertime. And that's for a number of reasons. Ball cypresses like a lot of water, but also I created this composition here at the not most ideal or best ideal time of the year, since the tree was already leaved out. However, I didn't do a severe root potting. I just raked out and reduced the outer layer of the root ball, which mostly had dirt in it anyways, and then I didn't really defoliate it either at this point. I gave it its movement and I potted it, and I'm not gonna do this every single time. So don't worry, this tree is not going to die just because I did it at the wrong time of the year. I just do this once to this tree. This tree will never get repotted at the not ideal time ever again moving forward. So this tree will perfectly be fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and water this tree profusely now every single day, and then the wires, I'm gonna have to keep a close eye on them, because as the tree now starts to push, now that it's in better soil, and now that I gave it some trunk movement, it's gonna bud out everywhere, and so therefore I have to keep a very close eye on the trunk line. But this overall design, I will call this a cascading literati style. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video today. Please let me know in the comments below what you think of my new ball cypress design. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will catch you guys next time.